This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. Now, you may recall that last week I got my paws on one of those Harley Benton Brian May copy guitars, the BM75. Belongs to a student of mine who just left it with me to do a couple of videos with, and well, if you missed those, I'll probably link to them in the description. But I was just kind of scratching my head and wondering, you know, what am I going to do for next week's solo analysis, the Monday solo? And I thought, well, I've got a Brian May guitar-ish there, a copy of one at least. So why not take a stab at this one? So there you go, Hammer to Fall, or my attempt at the solo from, I think, one of Queen's classic songs, it has to be said. I remember that, it always reminds me of being at college in the 80s, that song there. And one of Queen's kind of bigger, shoutier, rockier tracks, and they were always good, I thought, when they were in that mode. So anyway, that's what my attempt at the solo sounds like. Hopefully pretty close to the real thing. Here's a little bit of an explanation about what's going on in the solo.
Solo explanation.
Right then, let's start off as always by looking at the chord sequence we're playing over. We've got three chords here, A, D and E. There's a little bit of cleverness in how they're put together, but you know, those are the three chords. A, then to an E, then to a D, then to an A. If you're not familiar with those shapes, that's basically the A chord is 7th fret on the 4th string, 6th on the 3rd string, and 5th on the 2nd string. The E chord is 6th on the 4th string, 4th on the 3rd string, and 5th on the 2nd string, and then we just move that shape down a tone, and that becomes a D chord, and then off onto the bottom kind of single finger A chord like that, and we string those together. Throughout large parts of the solo we've got an A bass pedal underneath all of that, so that's going to end up giving us this kind of thing. And essentially the solo is played over twice through that little sequence there. It's worth mentioning that on the first half of the second time through, the bass is off on its own little journey, playing kind of thirds and fifths underneath those chords there, creating various inversions. But this is a lesson on the guitar solo, not the bass line, so we're not going to worry too much about that at all. As I say, A, D and E, 1, 4 and 5 chords in the key of A major, so the scale we're using over the top of it is the A major scale. A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp and A. And we start on a really strong chord tone, the C sharp, the major third of the A chord, with this little ascending run here. And you can kind of hear a little bit of question and answer kind of stuff going on in there. Question and the answer. So the question will be, and the answer I'm kind of hearing as like that. It's very much kind of a balanced little phrase, that in a phrase of two halves, if you like. It's worth mentioning that on that final bend there in that lick, there is a guitar harmony. What's going on there is we're basically creating this A major chord here by bending up to each of the notes in that chord from the scale tone below. We're already doing that with this B going up to the C sharp, giving us this note in the chord. Then the other guitar harmony parts are basically the G sharp being bent up to the A, and the D going up to the E. Personally, when I recorded this, I did the D to the E bend here. because I just find the third string bends a little bit better for doing licks like that. So that's that guitar harmony. There's another one right at the end of the solo, but we'll come to that when we get there. Next lick is, we're up in this area here. Again, just an A major scale. You can think of that as basically being a pattern 1 pentatonic shape with the extra major scale notes, the G sharp and the D added in. But anyway, it's A major scale. And we have this little lick here. Like that. Again, you can kind of hear a question and answer kind of thing going on there. Question, answer. That's how I perceive it anyway. Your mileage may vary, but it's very much kind of it's very well phrased, and I think that is, that question and answer thing, call and response is usually a thing that people call upon to create effective phrases. Then we go up into like that. And then probably the trickiest little bit of the solo. Just watch out, by the way, there for that semitone bend. Very easy to overbend that and go get that, which wouldn't sound good at all. Then after that, probably the trickiest part of the solo. Not that it's, in the grand scheme of things, particularly tricky, but it's easy to kind of get your fingers tied in a knot. So I'll play it slowly. So it's 14 to 12 slide on the top E string, and then 15, 14, 15, 17 on the second string, then onto the A note there, 14th on the G string. So it's all of this kind of sliding and kind of landing on the right finger to be able to continue up on this string. That's the where you can potentially come unstuck, but this is how I'm doing it. And once again, strong chord tones, bending up to the C sharp there on the at the end of that lick there, because that's the major third of the A major chord that we've completed the lick on. Then we just get this nice little descending run, which has got one of Brian May's sort of signature flourishes in it. That. It almost has something of a fanfare quality about it, doesn't it? You could imagine medieval kind of trumpets with a kind of flags hanging off them playing something like, you know what I mean. So then, and then we just kind of, that's just following the D, C sharp, and then once again resolving onto the A major chord there. It's basically following the kind of rhythm of that rhythm guitar part, which is what's going on underneath it. And that is very much what Brian finishes the solo off with, like that, where we kind of leave it hanging on that D major chord, which creates a little bit of tension, which is then resolved when the vocals come back in on the A chord. Over that D major chord there, that's where we have that other harmony guitar part that which I kind of alluded to earlier. All we're doing for that harmony guitar part is basically just taking this D chord shape here, move it up an octave, so we're there, and then just take every note in that chord shape and bend to each of those notes from the scale tone below it. So the F sharp, we bend up to it from the E. The D, we bend up to it from the C sharp. The A, we bend up to it from the G sharp. And that big kind of harmonised D major chord sits over the top of the kind of actual D major chord that's being played by the rhythm guitar and Brian's main guitar part there. Very, very effective use of guitar harmonies. Very much like you would tend to have vocalists doing backing vocals, just not kind of necessarily singing perfect parallel harmony all the way throughout something where it sounds like it's on rails. But just kind of at certain points, just to give it a little bit more dimension, just come in with some subtle harmonies. Very, very effective. So there you go. That is what's going on in the fantastic Brian May solo from the Queen song Hammer to Fall. Now you know what to do. Go away and have some fun with it. And as always, you'll find a full tab for that solo in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing it, that explanation you've just seen there, and a backing track to play along with yourself. All of that is up on my Patreon page. There's the address, link in the description. As I'm sure you know by now, $3 or £2.50 a month gets you access to all of these additional resources that go along with these YouTube videos. A massive, massive thank you to each and every one of you who support me in that or any of the other ways, all of which are linked down in the description. And that is pretty much the video for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed it and found it useful and informative in some small way. And if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And why not drop me a like as well while you're at it. Don't forget the live stream every Friday 5 PM UK time, where we drink beer and talk about music and guitars and all manner of great stuff. Great way to kick off the weekend. I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.